Alright. Some people might be late. I don't know what people doing. Let's see. Let me take the link here. Oh, I gotta post it to the Discord.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said I gotta post a link to the Discord. I totally forgot about that. Let me see here.
Oh, okay.
How are you, man?
Well, I'm doing great. How about you?
Just another day, man. We had a hurricane down here a couple days ago.
Well,
Besides that, pretty good, man.
hmm.
Let's see, general.
No, it didn't hit way too close to you, right?
No, it didn't hit too. It didn't hit too close. Didn't get too bad.
Yeah.
But like you don't work and shit. Like, I was kind of happy not to fucking work. Thank God. I was glad to be fucking off. Needed an off day bad. But yeah. What was your goals for this month, man?
One of them was to post a song on YouTube and Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
That was accomplished, thankfully.
Oh, where you like? What's your name on Spotify? You go by?
It's Rafa Marcelino with a P and an H.
Oh, what?
Rafa Marcelino, maybe. I'm gonna spell it.
Mussolini.
Marcelino.
Mussolini.
R-A.
Oh, like Mussolini?
Marcelino.
Mussolini.
It's Portuguese.
Oh, okay. And how'd that go? Pretty good?
The feedback is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
People seem to be enjoying it, actually. Mm-hmm. Some people even caught on like those tiny details that not everybody picks upon.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, it definitely didn't fail, thankfully.
This was actually really good, man. How long you been doing music?
Whew, that's, I think about 11 years, something of that sort. I mean, yeah, 11 years, roughly. I mean.
Yeah, wow. What got you into wanting to do music and stuff like that?
Well, basically, there was this one day in which a colleague of mine was talking to me about this song that was a mixture of two completely different genres.
Mm-hmm.
One was rap, and the other is a very distinctly Portuguese genre, which sounds like it's from a completely different area, or these two people live in different worlds. So when he talked about that, it sparked my curiosity, and since he liked it so much, I thought, all right, I want to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after finally getting home, the first thing that popped in my brain was, all right, I want to listen to this song. Let's go. And when the rapper especially started talking, what he was mentioning made a lot of sense to me. It felt like we were both living the same story to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, if something like this does touch people's hearts this much, maybe I'm gonna go this route.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, it kept I kept thinking more and more about it, and eventually I decided, all right, I'm gonna try it, see where it goes, see if I can improve.
Mm-hmm.
From then on, it was basically continuing to listen to more and more music and trying to learn continuously.
Oh, awesome, man. It sounds like a journey there, man. That was very journey focused.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was like a journey focused. What up, Gary? How you doing? Jordan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing, man? Good?
Busy, but good. How about you guys?
Pretty good, man. How's the economy looking for you, man? What do you think is going on there? My perspective, I see everything's getting back to kind of normal-ish area. If I was to invest, I'd keep the same horizon.
Go ahead. Well, what I'm watching out for is a few different things. So, um, I think where the average person is at is most of them are at fatigue levels. A lot of people have been laid off, or watched inflation destroy their savings, or
Mm-hmm.
if they're in some areas have had possibly unnatural wildfires. And so the market itself is mostly being pushed up by the government,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. So what we're watching for is essentially white and black swan events, things that are very hard to predict or out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we have likely another round of shutdowns that some states will attempt in the next few weeks.
You think so?
It will be up to. Sorry, go ahead.
You think they're gonna shut down?
I think they're going to try.
Really?
Yeah, I've already heard reports that some teams are being prepped to try to do another round of uh, games, so to speak. And so I think they're going to try to shut down. I don't know if the people will stand for it. My guess is a lot of them will not.
Yeah, I
But
think
that
so.
will likely impact the economy. The other thing to watch out for is what happens with the BRICS. So what happened last week is a lot of the nations, including Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia, etc., they met at the BRICS nations, and they're looking to ditch the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
When they ditch the dollar, that's going to cause a lot of issues economically for the U.S., at least in the short term. But it's really going to hurt a lot of the bad actors who are holding toxic debt, or not holding real assets. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. You see a bunch of flash crashes. And then also I'd watch the political unrest, because there's now cases against both the former and current presidents. And so there are a lot of swans going on that could affect the markets. And so I'm stocking up on extra food and water for the time being in case there's disruptions. But the other question I think most investors have to decide is, do they trust this market? I personally don't anymore. One of the stocks I was involved with had a lot of money stolen from it. And so I think that's why a lot of people are moving to crypto and silver and gold. And the most people I've talked to, some people still do the mutual fund thing, but a lot of the active investors I talk to are looking for ways out and looking for things like XRP or silver in the future. So that's what I got in the market.
Yeah. I mean, if I was to buy anything right now, I'd only buy Berkshire Hathaway. I think your money's pretty safe with Berkshire Hathaway because it's just so well diversified. You got it in the railroads, you got it in like little shit like you got things like Apple and stuff like that. So it's quite diversified. That's me, like personally. If I'm going to buy anything in the foreseeable future, I'm gonna be a lot more safer and risk adverse. So I'm gonna go with things like Berkshire Hathaway. That's just where I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And
I have a few investments. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a few investments left, but I don't trust this market as is. I think there's too many algos, there's too many fake shares lying around, and so I have a few assets left in the market. But once those resolve, I'll probably be out until they have a transparent system, because I just don't trust their system. I've seen too much of what they do to rig the rules, and so I'm not interested. I will say though, the thing to watch out for is what happens with some of these quote unquote blue chip stocks, because if there are black swan events or flash crashes, it's going to be hard for people to dump like 1 million shares of Amazon at once. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be hard for a lot of these big funds to offload it if they're all having similar problems. And so that's the downside risk to keep an eye on. I don't know how big that'll be a long-term issue, but I think it's more of a short-term thing for people to watch out for in whatever happens with the oncoming instability. But I think there's going to be a lot of drastic changes in the next few months based on from what I'm hearing.
The election and stuff like that. That's a big. We're about to start going into the election shit, so that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't know. I don't even know what they're thinking when it comes to like Joe Biden. Is he gonna run again? I don't think he can. Are they gonna have Newsom? Like, what's their whole strategy for there? Are they gonna get rid of Trump? Are they, like, what's the whole strategy there?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Hey, do you know how I can see your picture, Mercer? How do I get everybody else's like picture up?
I don't think they got their picture up.
Okay, cool then. All right,
All
as long
right.
as I'm good, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, Gary, how's everything for you, man?
That's good. Thank you, man. I've been chilling, doing well.
Mm-hmm. Anything
Yeah,
new,
how about
man?
you? Shit. Hey man, just going on this journey, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm focused on. And
Uh,
it's always new, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah, it's progress as usual. I'm paying attention to the channel, just tapping into seeing what you guys were up to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we just, usually with the monthly calls we get on here, we talk about, things like stocks or, personal achievements that people are going after or have done, and like
Yeah.
what's going on in their life. Maybe some people are dating new people,
Yeah.
whatnot. You can talk about anything, man.
For
Anything you
me,
find interest.
I'm at this point where it's like, like the personality and the MBTI aspect
Mm-hmm.
of everything, is sort of, I'm sort of in this thing where I'm kind of using that and then like a spiritual journey in order to understand, the road I'm on. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's what I'm shifting toward with where I'm going with it. You know what I mean? Not necessarily maybe trying to, create a new system or come up with a way to make money or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more just sort of trying to figure out, my purpose. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm flowing with all of this MBTI stuff is
Mm-hmm.
sort of just to understand the mind, so that I can really understand how to get my energy, directed in a
Mm-hmm.
single point. You know what I mean? Rather than try to, be all over the place a little bit. So that's what I bring to the table a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
real good at communicating the little nuance things that sort of open doors to get where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Yeah.
You ever think about like being a motivational speaker, man, or anything like that?
I like to do that. People have told me that before, especially if I get flowing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't done that, but I'm interested in that. Thanks for saying that because yeah, I've heard that a few times and maybe that's something I'll look into.
Yeah, yeah, man. You seem though you got that verbal agility going, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. I like the feedback because I don't know that, I didn't know this stuff too much. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's cool to know that.
I mean, you're very good at talking. Yeah. Any goals you looking to set for yourself next month or anything?
I don't like to put a timeline on it because
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's just yeah, I don't like to put any parameters on anything. I'm just letting it all. I'm just following a knowing that's still there, and as I go, I can feel the intensity of it as it either diminishes as it's going the right way or if it's not. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's all on faith, man. You know what I mean? Everything I've been doing for like the last year and a half has all I have not. I've been walking into the unknown, but man, as long as I don't think or want to do anything particularly, and I just keep following this thing. Right, it all seems to work out very, very the right way for me. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's been a long time since anything. All the efforts and things seem to not bring me to that place. And so as I let go of trying to control it all, it seems to just work out in other ways as long as I look around and see that that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take the time to do that now and make sense of it all
Mm-hmm.
before really trying to look at the reasons,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that getting a more holistic reason allows me to like, not get frustrated as much, shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Totally,
thank you.
totally understand. Like for myself, I think um, I want to set more goals with a timeline because it just makes me like more accountable for myself. You're different.
Yeah,
You're more,
all right.
flow energy. Mine, I'm a little bit more focused. So I've noticed that maybe setting a timeline for myself kind of makes me achieve a goal. If not for me, then I'm just going around.
Right, right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and one thing I respect about you and I look at the channel a lot, dude, is because I do notice where you'll bring in a system of something and be able to pick it up and utilize it, and then I'll see you'll get three or four of them, you know what I mean? But, as people are still getting one, so I'm sort of like that where it's like creating this really big kind of thing and then trying to put it out there one time,
Mm-hmm.
rather than I see you're really good at grabbing things that are, existing and putting them all together, and sort of piecing it together like that. So that's very strategic, you know what I mean? And you know what you're doing as you're going, which is nice because it takes away some of that need for faith, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And the unknown. It seems like I'm stuck in this spot where, you know, the parts are all there in my mind, and I'm trying to construct it all, and I'll know when I got it, and then I want to create it. So it's for me, it's a little more scary, man. It's a little more, who knows, right? But I just believe that it's going to happen, dude. I know. So fuck, it's like a test, man. But hey, I want to pick up some of your warrior strength. You know what I'm saying? I want
got
to
it,
be able
man.
to
Hey,
actually put it
hey.
on paper. You feel me?
You got it, man. Because man, it's bold to go to the unknown, man.
Yeah.
It's very bold
Yeah.
to deal with the unknown. It's
Thank
very
you, bro.
stressful.
Yeah. I'm willing to die on the sword to get to the end. So I'm already at that point. So it's going to happen. Feel me?
Yeah. There's another ENTP in here. Malcolm, you there? Malcolm,
Yeah, I'm here, man.
how you doing, man? Good?
Life is good. I feel like shit
Why you feel like shit, man?
because I got COVID.
Oh, you got COVID?
Bro, I told you this.
Oh shit! Cause you was all over the planet.
Say that one more
I
time.
said you was all over the planet partying your ass off.
Man, nobody else got it but me. Like
Really?
nobody in the hotel, nobody else in my group that was with me. Like nobody, just me.
Damn. How's it affecting you?
Feel like I got hit by a truck. My head foggy as fuck. Like feel ridiculous, man. I hate being sick.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna land you down. Anything you accomplished last month or things like that?
I'm getting real close to some of the licenses I'm working on for my company for next year. I got to do some more certifications before I'm ready to get licensed through the state, but like steady progress is being made. This week I have a bunch of shit I'm supposed to be doing, but you can't do none of that stuff or go to none of those buildings if you got COVID.
Mm.
I'm in no condition to go meet with people anyways. So now right now I'm kind of at a standstill till COVID is done with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of stuck at the house. I'm irritated as fuck because I have a ton of stuff that I need to be working on right now that requires me to be in front of people, and it's on hold till COVID is done with me. But for the most part, the last month it's just been spending time with the family. You know, life's been good and school's been going well. My finals were well. Like stuff's been going good, steady progress. Of course, always entertained by the back and forth in the group.
Yeah. Dion, you there? Dion,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm getting me something to eat. Hold
but you always on the move, boy.
on. I'll stay on the go. As far as goals, I didn't hit nothing this month. This month coming up, though, I'm about to go work back for Comcast while it fails, so I can finish working on my project management certification. So I'm like about 50%. Well, I'm already certified through the Google. For Sarah, what's going on? Hold on 1 second.
This motherfucker Dion always on the move. I swear to God. Sit your ass down. Demetrius, you there? Oh, shit.
Hey, what's going on, Merce?
What's going on, man? How's things going for you, man?
Good, man. Just been going through a million things at once.
A million
Feel
things
like
at
I'm
once.
juggling-
I feel like
juggling
everybody's
life,
saying
man.
this shit. What the fuck is going on, man?
Right. I'm not a big astrology believer, but goddamn, what is it? Mercury in retrograde is about to pop up again.
The
I
who?
don't know. I feel like Mercury being in retrograde about to pop up again. It might be whooping my ass in the pre-stages.
Hey, what's new, man?
Yeah, goddamn. But like, as he was telling, I'm about to tell the same story. But yeah, just getting over a little bit of sickness.
You had
Had a
COVID too?
respiratory infection, upper respiratory infection.
Oh fuck! So you didn't have
Yeah,
COVID. You had something worse.
He kicked my ass a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, you have COVID or was it something else?
He's sick.
Nah, just that. Just had to go get some antibiotics. Then what is it? What is it? Conjunctivitis? Like
Conjunctivitis.
not full on pink eye, but
Ooh.
like damn near.
Ooh.
Shit was not fun.
Shit, I remember when I was younger, that shit used to heal a lot faster. Now that shit, boy, that shit do not heal as fast as it used to, boy.
You know, I was sitting in the house like, God damn, I do not like you said, I don't like taking care of myself, feeling sick. and then not being able to really do anything, not get out of the house, not work out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the one thing with like, I don't know, when life is kicking my ass the most, a good workout, a good sweat will really bounce me back. And during that, like, felt like a good week. I was like, all right, I gotta sit home, and I was just like, couldn't do anything.
Yeah, shit, man, damn. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I ain't got COVID. I knock on the fucking wood. I don't want COVID, cause that shit fuck you up, and you can't work, you can't live. Nah, fuck that. I need my money. You got like COVID and shit.
Is this the time to give my coded warning about some of the new quote unquote medications they're gonna push?
No, go ahead.
That may or may not be worse than the disease that are untested.
What's up, George? Talking about medical stuff. I'm gonna ask you where you got your medical degree. Because I used to work in a lab, and people get in this group saying bullshit they heard on Fox News. I'm gonna warn you before it gets started. I might be sick right now, but I'll get your ass out of here. Some sources, and it better not be Wikipedia.
Let's put it this way. I used to work at one of the top medical research institutions in the U.S., and I caught them lying about some of the data last time. And so that's where I'm coming from. What I'm saying is if a popular pharma company rolls out something related to mRNA and they claim it's safe, and you go look at the excess deaths in the past few years, it calls into question whether or not it was safe. I'm trying to speak in code so I don't get Mercer banned from the book forever. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm saying they have no long-term data to support that it's safe. And it's funded by people who are supporting depopulation. That's what I'm saying. You can ask me offline for more details, but I'm trying not to get Mercer thrown off of the book forever.
Well, when I think about COVID, man, I think as of right now, we've been dealing with this for how many years now? I mean, it's a viral infection. It's a viral infection. Man, take Pedialyte, get your zinc levels up, and just fight it through, bro. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna get this shit every year. You know, take care of yourself. Take your zinc. Keep your zinc levels high.
Yeah, zinc and vitamin D, I think.
Yeah. You want to keep those
and
levels
vitamin.
high.
And Malcolm, vitamin B for you. B12, vitamin, keep the energy.
Yeah, I take B12. I take D3, B12, all that.
Yeah.
It's at this point now with COVID where I tell people, like, and I get it, people are concerned, numbers go back up, but I'm like, if you think about it, every time it gets close to the end of summer towards fall, even back when it was just the standard flu, that's just the pattern of the numbers gonna go up. Then they probably gonna come back down. You know, Mercer, you work in the hospital, so you kind of see that same pattern.
Yeah, I mean, we've been loaded up crazy with RSV. Fucking motherfuckers be getting. The crazy thing is that people are getting flu and COVID at the same fucking time. That shit, wow. Because to me, I thought, this is just my logic, that the viruses will compete against each other to actually get to the host, right? So if there's one competing, then it outcompeted the other. But now they seem to be becoming more symbiotic. And what that means is, like, they're both fucking inoculating in the host, which is fucking wow. You know, you see people who got flu B and COVID. I'm like, boy, I know they're getting their ass kicked.
Yeah. And to piggyback on what Jordan was saying, and I'm just saying as far as the medicines and everything, I mean, I think everybody kind of, well, I ain't gonna say everybody. A lot of people probably knew. I mean, we got hit with a disease nobody ever knew anything about. Everybody. I mean, well, we got caught with a disease that nobody. Then, not even 8 months later, they start coming up with vaccinations. But like I said, vaccinations are just what they are. Vaccines. It doesn't mean cure. And so they're supposed to help, but they don't. Like you said, after watching that movie I watched last night, I mean, that the one about dirty money, it's crazy how much corruption goes on in the government. I've never been the kind of person to focus in on that, but it's scary. It's very scary.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said with the COVID shit, man, just take care of yourself, and you don't have to get no fucking medicine, none of this shit, but you don't have to do none of that.
That's right.
You know.
That's right, Mercer. Hey, think about this, right? It's like, hey, for me, it's like none of that really exists at all for me right there. The whole thing, right? Because it's like, you guys ever think about where it's like, wherever you put your perception on, you know what I mean? If you try to figure it out, you can analyze it to death, you know what I mean? But you'll come away with scary, or you'll come away with, all these things that are cautious or whatever. But it's like things are happening. The world is happening, right? You know what I mean? It's moving whether we look at it or not. So what we look at, it's something in motion anyway. So it's like, I like to be aware that COVID's going on, this and that. Things are in my awareness, right? But it's happening anyway. So I need not look at it and experience any emotion upon the whole subject of it, right? If I stay on the outside, I'm aware I can totally react to what's going on, but not experience it in a way where I'm frustrated or believe that there's something or some way that I'm going to be able to affect it. More important than the emotion that I experience trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? I like to take that concept and apply it to all kinds of things in life. You know what I mean? And it gives me more space to be in flow, and have, intuitions come in and stuff like that. So that's sort of like something that's helped me. Hopefully, maybe that resonates with someone that, a little bit, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't.
But nothing wrong with looking at it either. So, but thank you. Sorry, Mercer, go.
You good? Like I said, I wouldn't. You don't have to take these medicines. You don't have to take these vaccines, man. You're gonna get COVID. It is what it is. Like I said, the only thing you can do is keep your vitamin D levels high and keep your zinc levels high and stay hydrated. So I mean, there's a lot of like new new drinks out there. Like Gatorade has I guess their version of Pedialyte, because everybody seems to want to be in Pedialyte space now. With the liquid IV being another one, but just make sure you stay at a very hydrated level, and you should be fine. You don't have to go to the store and take these crazy ass medicines or whatever. You don't have to do that.
Same, Mercer. There's one other thing you can do, and it's you can get your meat from safe sources, for lack of a better word. And I've talked about this before, but like there are some farmers who are actually putting vaccinations in the livestock that are potentially meant for humans, which is kind of dangerous. It's untested, and I mean, if people, especially people don't know about it and they overeat, then they're over quote unquote medicating. And so that's why I've said, like, you have to be careful about where you get your meat, because a lot of these big meat processors are putting crap in the food and they're not really telling you about it. It's something one of the lawyers, Thomas Renz, I think he's in Missouri, but don't quote me on that. He's gone in front of Congress to talk about. So I get my meat from Good Ranchers. They're clean. I've talked with them before about it. And so anyway, just something to consider for the health conscious guys here.
Jordan, where did you get that? I'm genuinely curious. Just want to read into it.
So the easiest source is to go to Thomas Renz. He's a lawyer, and he's represented whistleblowers from Big Pharma. And one of the things I think he talked in front of Congress about it. If it wasn't Congress, it was a legal proceeding. But he's on Twitter and some of the other sites. But he was talking about how they changed some of the rules about what potential quote unquote medications they can put in beef. And many of the entities funding Big Pharma have talked about putting that stuff in the food supply so that people who don't want to take it can get it secondhand. Obviously, there are a lot of risks with that, even just from a research standpoint. People eat food in different amounts. You don't know how much they would be taking secondhand of that. But the point is that Thomas Renz is the source. You can take a look at it, and there are other sources. That's probably the easiest one to start with. And if you want to look into clean food, you could check with. There's a few clean food sites, but Good Ranchers is an easy one. That's where I get my meat now, and so they just deliver it, and it's pretty much untampered with, and it's good quality. So
hey Jordan,
thank you.
Do us a favor, everybody that's here, and you can make a mental note. Just send it to us directly after the live.
I can repost it on the page. Yeah. I posted a while ago, so I'll find it and repost it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of shit. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, look what they did with the cigarettes and shit. There's a lot of people who got their fucking lives ruined. The government was pushing fucking cigarettes. in the what was it, 60s, 40s, whatever the fuck it is, and like a lot of people now are on like fucking oxygen and shit. So I mean, just do your homework and be informed of the shit. You know, try to make, if you have money, you know, try to pick the better sources of food. I feel like it's inevitable though to get perfect food. You know, that's just how. I mean, it is what it is. We all gotta die. Like we can't change that. But you know, if you have the money, why not try to be more safer with your food supply? But as I predict, most people generally aren't able to. But
right. Yeah, it was a tough sacrifice that I made. It was a little bit more than I was used to, but I had pretty bad IBS for a few years, and then when I switched over my diet to be more meat heavy, but more specifically clean meat heavy, a lot of that cleared up. And yeah, so I reposted it on the main page. So I got two sources: Good Ranchers and Eat Wild. So you can take a look. If you have questions, let me know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So you were saying you had IBS, was that irritable bowel syndrome, right?
Yes, that's correct. And it was part of the issue too is I had a mix of IBS and insomnia, and so it would just kind of go on for months at a time. And so once I was able to fix that and fix the sleep a little bit, it's been historically a lot better. And so it's not really a common issue. You know, every once in a while, a bad day or whatever, but fixing that in particular was a big part of it. And then limiting other foods that cause me issues was also. I don't eat a ton of new food, but it helps me move a lot faster and be a lot healthier.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick up that book. You got me intrigued because the gut health is a very big part of like a lot of things. They're saying a lot of research is going back to like overall gut health. Like they're talking about even like some like gut transplants or some shit, and people like totally changing like their weight and shit like that. So I'm gonna pick up some books on gut health. That's probably gonna be my goal for this month here. Since you got me going on that, is to read some books on gut health and see how I can contribute.
Hey Mercer, I was gonna ask you. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of that thing where? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Maybe Dion knows about this too, because he seems like an active dude, like you said. Like drinking the probiotics with like lemon juice in the morning, and then like in one morning you like poop out like fucking like 4 pounds of fucking shit on your gut. Yeah, is that shit? It works, huh?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that lemon is lemon and lime too, but they both work as it's kind of like a detox. I mean, I think that's a known thing at this point, but yeah, doing that apple cider vinegar, and you take it on an empty stomach. But for order for it to work effectively, to actually see results, you need about 3 to 4 days of doing that to actually start seeing the benefits of it. Because what a lot of people take is consume more fiber, consume more cruciferous vegetables, and that can just make it worse because a lot of times it's not even just IBS, it can be SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, where you would get bacteria trapped in the small intestine as opposed to just the large. So now your food is having a hard time digesting. So to everybody's point, all of that works. The gut health is a very big thing. I remember after I had got cancer treatment, I had a GI tract infection for the longest time. And ever since then, my stomach lining and just the, it would get flared up sometimes. But ever since I had radiation therapy done in that particular area through the stomach, I've had problems with GI tract health and gut health issues. So, but a lot of diseases do start in the gut if you really do the research.
Yeah, and that's a physical aspect of it too. Yeah, and there's also like a spiritual one too, where it's like there's a gut mind communication. You know, like when you get a feeling in your gut, you feel it. You feel it, but it's like I swear, like by cleaning that out, like it increases the connectivity between gut and mind. You know what I mean? And like allows you more clarity and more like insights to like be perceived. But that's why I just know that from other things. But I was like. Been trying to do that for like 2-3 weeks now. I'm just like, I gotta get like, I'm chilling with my friend right now. So I'm like, I gotta get a room by myself. You know what I mean? To sit there, I gotta go in the bathroom for a few hours. I don't want to be hanging out with nobody. You know what I'm saying? But
find a nice audiobook or something.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Find some nice wipes and a comfortable pillow because you don't need to sleep and wipe.
Yeah, I keep them wipes on deck, bro. I swear to God, if I ain't got wipes in my house, I go crazy. Like, I keep it in bags. I keep it in gym bags. I keep it everywhere. I always have wipes.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, another thing I would recommend for health is overall take care of your teeth, because there's a lot of research that's coming back that says like a lot of like inflammation and stuff are tracked behind like not taking care of your teeth. So I highly recommend taking care of your teeth as well. It fucking sucks. You're gonna spend a lot of money if you haven't been to the dentist in a while, but overall, like it's worth it for your health. You know, you don't want like these lingering inflammatory problems and shit like that. But yeah, gut health, teeth health. Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing, man?
What's going on?
I'm doing good. We doing typing sessions here or
No,
what
we're just
exactly?
talking, man. We're just talking, just talking
right,
about things.
right.
We were just talking about gut health and stuff like that. Like if you know anything about that.
Yeah, I have an idea. I don't really know the stuff really well, but I have an idea about it.
Well, what's your idea? Go on, drop it on us.
My ID. It's
idea.
Ashraf.
You say I see your idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there are certain food that are definitely bad for you, like sugar and all that stuff.
Facts.
Like I said,
That's
I have
true.
a general idea. I'm not really. I still don't look up the stuff really well.
Well, how about this? Is it Ashraf? Is that how you say your name, Ashraf?
Yeah, Ashraf.
Okay.
So yeah.
What has been? Well, here's a more effective way of asking. What has been your experience with gut health that you've noticed that you can apply to share with everybody?
Did I have an experience that I would share with you? I didn't really hear you well. Sorry.
I was saying, like, what is? Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I was saying, like, what's been your experience with gut health that you would like to share with the group that has been benefit to you that you can help us with?
So it seems what he's saying is like, what have you learned from your experiences that you can tell other people, like with, you know, eating?
Okay, look.
Just awareness of it is good too. Sometimes we don't know details. Shit.
Yeah, I know how to. Yeah, just what's your experience with it?
Yeah.
Chiming in here real quick, just general questions to the group or just bouncing ideas. One of the things I was made aware of in terms of, I guess, the detoxing space and gut health in general, I thought that was supposed to be kind of like as needed or no more than like a quarterly or once or twice a year type thing. But I don't know, more of the things I've been seeing lately, trying to keep up on it. One of the friends I was talking to, trying to do my research into it itself, like detoxing, even taking supplements like what is it? Is it dandelion root? I think.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Trying to take something like that, at least. Yeah, like doing like a week on that, doing like 1 week out of the month, like doing it monthly should be more often in our routine, not just spacing it out so far. Like you don't need to have it so spaced out. It could be as frequent as doing it like once a month.
Yeah, I mean I don't really know much on it.
In that realm?
But give me a month. Give me a month because I'm gonna pick up some gut health books and I'll see where we at. I know there was somebody recommended it to me the other day. I was like, oh okay, maybe I should look into this shit. But you know, I guess a lot of people been trying to get me to go vegan, and I'm like, fuck you guys, I'm not giving up meat. I'm like, not giving up meat.
That's right. Mongolian barbecue.
Huh?
That's what's up.
Steak.
Like I'd rather fucking die. Death is welcome to give up meat. Like, but I feel like
steak or a good wing?
Huh?
Steak or a good wing?
You said what?
Can't give that up.
He said steak or a good wing.
Oh Lord, but Dimitri, stop, you bitch.
I can't, man.
Hey, is it, boy? That bacon on anything, boy.
You know what's so crazy about with bacon? Bacon, you can actually on ketogenic diets.
Yo, bacon is terrible. I don't give a fuck. No one says bacon is terrible, and I will continue to eat that shit. It is downright terrible.
Well, it depends. Well, it depends on what you like. If you get kind of like to Jordan's point, and Jordan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You're detailed on these kind of things, but pasture raised. Now, we of course there's always the argument of cage free pastures or whatever. But so from what I've studied and learned, and I look at a lot from this doctor named Dr. Berg, E-R-G. He talks a lot about how you use nutrition to heal yourself, and it's very true because there's another book I'm gonna post to the group, but um having you know what a lot of people know is they'll say they don't want it's the meats, and I'm like, well, how are you cooking? I mean, if it's not even just about how they're raised, that's the part of it too, but how are you cooking it? Because oftentimes when I ask you how they're cooking things, they're still frying it, they're not really grilling it or using olive oil or
Put
those
that shit
kind
in
of
the air
things to
fryer.
cook their meats.
Put that
Yeah,
shit
or
in-
air fryer. They're not using that. They still using vegetable oil, all kinds of grease and all this other gravy and
Hell
stuff that
no.
goes on it. Yeah.
Hell no.
So what I'm saying is, if it's pasture raised, Jordan, if you're still here, doesn't that make a difference in the meat? Or if like it was farm raised or grass fed, that would make it a lot more healthier than just the standardized ones with the cartridges and all that.
I would guess so. I'm not an expert on nutrition. I was just kind of giving my experience. I mean, like, just I know everyone's got different history, different preferences with how their body takes. But for mine, I just wanted things that were less processed, more basic, that didn't have extra whatever medications or things in it that don't need it. As natural as possible within reason. And then like, the vegetable oil is such a good point. I almost forgot about that. I was doing that for a while too. I had to stop that a few months ago. I cut out pretty much all vegetable oil and just went to butter. I'm not everyone necessarily can do that, but that's what I did. And that seemed to help me a good amount because I was still having issues with canola or vegetable oil, and that stuff's not good for you for the most part. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say here's what I would tell all you guys to look at a mix of. Study your vitamins. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are up to date on vitamins. Study the different vitamins because your body, like for me, I need particularly like vitamin D because I had a bone, so I have to make sure that my bones stay healthy as possible. But I would say study the vitamins and look between, like when you're studying what will work for you as far as the foods, look at the general principles, but also foods that would be specifically good for you. For example, like bok choy is very good for a person that has kidney problems because for whatever reason, the research shows that people who eat bok choy had least likely to have more kidney problems. So my thinking is over time that if you constantly feed a person that has kidneys instead of just sending them on dialysis, with eating this enough time, within a certain time frame or with enough extended time, how much healthier could they get over the long? A lot of this stuff, I feel like it's vitamin deficiency, and that could be due to genetics or outside circumstances. But if your body doesn't produce a lot of the vitamins that you need, or you get enough of it, that can also bring on a lot of illnesses and diseases as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, the things I would recommend is you got to get your vitamin D. It's super cheap. It's like maybe $5. But also make sure you got vitamin K because that helps with absorption. You just take vitamin D without vitamin K, basically that's fucking nothing. I take turmeric every day. It really helps with inflammation and things like that. I absolutely love it. When I stopped actually taking turmeric, I noticed a huge difference. So I take that every day as well. And fish oils, okay? Got to get your fish oils. I think a lot of people don't realize that they don't get enough vitamin D as they think they do. And it does, like, especially play a big role on testosterone with guys. A lot of guys will get like what they call I forget the damn word for premature ejaculation or not being
erectile dysfunction.
Yes, that one too, and it's usually linked to vitamin D. So guys, make sure you guys get your vitamin D, please.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're all made of stardust. Don't forget.
And like I said, I take the vitamin D. You gotta make sure, like, if you're gonna buy it, make sure it has vitamin K with it, or like you buy vitamin K separately or whatever. And I like turmeric. I love turmeric. I actually got it from a guy. He was a kind of big bodybuilding type engineer, and I was talking to him. He was older. He was like 60, and I was like, man, how do you keep going? He's like, these are supplements I started taking, turmeric, and I was like, oh shit, let me look into it, and I started buying it. And it's been pretty good, so highly recommend it. And fish oils, you gotta have that. That's just the basic shit. I got way more shit than that, but that's just the basic shit I think that everybody should take.
Hey, Mercer, quick question. As far as
What's the
turmeric,
big
do you
picture
take
overall?
like an actual?
Hmm?
Do you take an
Go ahead.
actual supplement? You're
Yes,
taking an
yes,
actual
yes.
supplement, or are you talking
Yeah,
about over-the-counter seasoning?
yeah. No. Don't get the because turmeric. You need like the black pepper or whatnot. With curcumin or something like that, and then it helps with the
Correct.
absorption of turmeric. So I buy the pills. Let me see. I have it. Here, let me see. I take these pretty like it's turmeric, bioperine, garlic, ginger, like this shit. I take shit every day. It's like turmeric pills. But it's got like the turmeric, but you gotta have that black pepper, man, because the black pepper helps with the absorption of turmeric.
Good point.
Yeah, it won't. The turmeric won't activate. It won't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. My fault, bro.
I'm about to ask you post a picture of it.
Oh yeah, I'll take a picture and put it in the group. Don't worry.
Yeah, the turmeric won't activate without the black pepper. You can still do now. If you still don't have the pills, you can still do standard turmeric and just like what I usually used to do. I know it sounds kind of gross, but I would actually put it in a tea. So I would do like the black pepper and tea, or green tea.
They do. They sell those drinks now. They sell drinks.
Yeah,
like
I
that,
know.
man. It's crazy. Ain't it?
Yeah, yep. But it's crazy if y'all think about it. Just years ago, even in the 90s or 80s, we just take it back as far as then. It's like the food pyramid of what they said was healthy versus what's not. It's completely flipped upside down. Like, you know, back in the day, there was a unique bagel, sugar coffee, Rice Krispie treats, Pop Tarts, social noodles, pancakes, all this stuff just to have in the morning for breakfast, which was bull. I mean, even think about the whole thing they were trying to sell about whole milk, man. I'm like, who still drinks whole milk?
Who the fuck drinks whole milk?
It's full of
nowadays?
bacteria.
But I stopped whole milk a long time ago. That shit make me shit my brains out. Like hell no. Hey, somebody bring cookies, anything. I'm like, hey, you put milk in that shit? I ain't eating that shit.
Right.
Hey, you won't get me, man.
About to smoke some cookie.
He said smoke some cookie. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, think about that. Like think about it. But all those things were actually making things worse for people. So I'm like, well, how could they sit there and sell that back then? But the stuff now, it's like, we still have the kind of mindset where we think having a vegetable in the morning is. A lot of people still think like that. They're having a vegetable. They were like, I remember I went to a restaurant. They were like, you eat broccoli this early in the morning? Who does that, right? I'm looking like, if you actually knew what you were doing, you would be having broccoli early. You would start all the French toast you got sitting up on that plate with all that syrup and stuff.
It's a lot of empty
Sugar
calories.
bread. Yeah.
Sugar bread. And nothing wrong with that. That's your treat. But come on, man. How you going to tell me about having broccoli in the morning?
Right.
If people ask me why I be eating chicken in the morning or some shit, I'm like, bro, what the fuck you mean? I eat whatever I feel like eating shit. Fuck out of here. Like, I ain't listening to your shit. Like, bro, get out of here.
Yeah. That's just old way of thinking. Somebody put it in the group earlier a little bit. They were like, tradition is just something. Tradition is bad dead men.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I think that was Ali. He's
Ali,
laughing about it. Yeah. I'd say do what's best for you, man. Like you don't have to follow what they say. It's actually, man, when you look and you like actually look around you and look what people are doing, you're like, bro, what the fuck are they doing? Are they like retarded or something? Like they just, I don't know. It's almost like they just are just. It's almost like they're like animals. It's like they're like animals.
Sometimes people don't know what's best for them. They just doing the best thing that they know. You know what I mean? And so it's like they'll, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, that's what that looks like from far away, probably. You know?
Yeah.
Like people just like they gotta either research or be willing to like, take, something sound, some advice. You know what I mean? And otherwise, they're just like stuck on the fact that it's like that's the only possibility for them in the outcome. You know? So.
Yeah, I mean, people have been lied to so much. On some of them, not sure.
I don't think they care, Jordan. To be honest with you, I don't think they care. They're just animals.
I think they care when they end up hurt because of it, but they might not realize it for a while. But I will say though, like when I was doing the IBS stuff, like I had to do the scientific method. I had to try a food for a week, see how my body handled it, and go off of that. And like the initial instructions, like from a few years back, saying meat will give you, make you feel bad was totally wrong. It's the opposite for me.
Exactly.
And that's why people have to test it. Take a week, take a month, test out, record your results, and see what works for you. I mean, that's what you got to do.
But that's what Mercer is saying to your point as well. It's like people are too lazy to do any testing, and they'll sit there and say, "Oh, my stomach hurt," or "I got a headache, I'm feverish," but they won't drink a drop of water and say, "Oh, that's all I needed." I remember I used to work with her at GNC, and I was like, "Man, pick up that pH battle. How you gonna work at GNC and don't know what to use to make yourself better?" And I said, "Pick up that pH water bottle next to you." And then 30 minutes in, "Oh, I feel bad." I said, "See," I said, "See, people don't want to test it out because people are, what I see with a lot of people nowadays is they have to. It has to be a lot of like almost absolute certainty, or else they're gonna feel like they're making the wrong decision at the same time. Like, but you need to do some testing. I mean, you already eating crap anyway, so why not just try to test something else out that's potentially not gonna kill you and just see if you're gonna get better?
It ends up being a fear of getting over like a speed bump. You know what I mean? It's like once you get over that thing, you see how little it was the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you gotta just go over the motherfucker. You know?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly. I would add to, I think some people need to hit rock bottom or get out of their comfort zone, as you referenced, as you referenced, Gary, or have some stronger incentive. I don't know if that means like a partner or some financial incentive, but they need to get out of the comfort zone, and that I think is what's holding a lot of people back from trying.
And I think, you're right, and I think this too. Whereas, and the words get tricky, right? Because there's awareness. Like I feel like awareness is just the knowing of the conceptual understanding of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? People think awareness is consciousness or you know, all of this stuff. It's like just the same thing as working out. You know what I mean? It's like if they're not aware of the underlying principle of how things are going on, you know, then you get stuck in just looking for results right away. You know what I mean? You can't really have faith in the thing if you don't know actually what, you know, how it will play out prior to going into it, so you can see as you're going if it's going along. See, if they don't know that, they believe, exactly, you guys know, they believe that they understand it, and as they go, they can't measure. There's no thing to measure it by, and so then they just give up, you know, and then they won't know. They'll just believe it doesn't work. So then that's why, you know, I feel like just understanding what awareness is separate from the act of conceptually, you know, going through the process is what like separates the little nuanced thing that people might misunderstand a lot of the times in whatever process they're doing in life. You know, to get that universally understood, I think is a big deal or a big help.
Well said, man. I as I've gotten older, I've noticed that like people just don't take the time to actually read. I don't understand like what's so hard. Like they rather like do any and everything to get away from just fucking reading for themselves. It blows my fucking mind. Like, like just like even like I don't know. It's like as I've gotten older and older, and especially like as of like last year, it's very few people that actually sit down and actually fucking read. They rather go to some YouTube video or something than to actually like want to read the source themselves and actually know, which is crazy to me. It's fucking to me. It's like fucking crazy. It's like, I'd rather just read it and understand it myself. You know, it's crazy, and it's actually pretty sad. People often what did Malcolm say?
Yeah, Malcolm said people are often unmotivated to do the work. Instant gratification has ruined people. I mean, that's a great point.
Yeah. I think the social media thing, you know, with social media, everybody's like so used to getting everything right then and there. You know, like Amazon itself is you get packages the same day now. So we're like in a super instant gratification society now.
Yeah, the reading thing is really important, and I don't think. Listen, there are some YouTubers and some smart guys I listen to, you know, when I have time. But like, there are some things that you do absolutely have to read yourself and check, or at least spot check. You know, that's something I try to do. I try to spot check, and if I start seeing inconsistencies from a reliable source, then I might remove them as a reliable source. But the reading thing, some people it's laziness. Some people are trained just to believe the narrative, and some people are bad actors. And what I mean by that is like, and I said this in the post earlier this week, like. Backstory, I was involved with a really big case a few months back, and involving investment with like millions of shareholders. I hopped in, called out the bullshit. I said, these people are lying. If you do this, it's going to wipe out tons of people's value. They didn't listen to me. They moved forward, and I was right. And so anyway, it was a mess, maybe a discussion for another day. But as a part of that process, I had a lot of people who are likely paid to come after me on Twitter and other medias, and they tried a few different tactics. They would try to twist your words. They'd lie. They'd try to distract you. And the minute you told them to read, they would run away. It was like kryptonite. I swear to God. I said, dude, go read the court documents, and they'd run away. And so when we had someone in our group in the last week try to call me out and do the same tactics, I said, go read it. Go read it. I'll even give you clues. Here's where to start. And they kept playing the game. And I said, fine, you want to play this game? I'm going to call you out for it. You're being a bad actor. And then they left. Apparently, they left the group or blocked me. I don't know.
Let's just say it's Melissa. Let's just get this over with.
Sure. Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't really know her in person. Hopefully, she's a nice person. But those are the qualities of a bad actor. And we've had bad actors come into this group trying to push political stuff. In June of 2022, there was a large Supreme Court decision that happened, and then one girl came into this group and tried to just berate people just nonstop to get them to try to vote in their state a certain way. And me and Thomas just were not having it. It's just like, girl, we don't know. But just be aware, like, and a lot of these people, I think some of you guys do because I've talked to you guys, but there are so many people who are paid by the government or nonprofits or universities to go into social media groups and try to control narratives. It's a lot more people than we think. It's not just a handful. It's probably hundreds of thousands of people who that's their job. And when I looked up, and a few of these people who have called out as bad actors, and they have links to universities and they have jobs that are kind of hard to define, it just raises the red or yellow flags for me. And then when they run away with criticism, then I think, okay, I'm not sure these people are here to help others. I think it looks more like they're pushing a narrative. Anyway, that's just my political agenda. Yeah, it's sad, but it's true. There are people who do try to come to these groups and try to undermine some of the work that Mercer and Christian did by setting this up and push their own narratives. And the key thing is, like, it comes off as authoritarian, and they don't ask honest questions. Those are kind of dead giveaways. But I don't want to get too long on that. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Like I said, man, just always be curious, man. Just don't put yourself like if you have a problem in life, don't say, hey, man, there's nothing for it. Like, actively try to learn and go about your way of getting there,
right. Myself, and if you need help, ask for help.
Yeah, and that's a very important thing too. Like, just ask for help, man. Like, you'll save yourself like so much problem just asking, like, hey, man, Jordan, what do you think about this, man? Or Thomas, what do you think about this? You can try to figure shit out on your own, and that shit could take you damn near months to years when you could have just asked somebody else who's already done that.
Correct. Correct.
100%. Or even just ask where to get started. I think someone brought that up earlier. That's just such a great point. Just ask where to get started is such a help, because honestly, that's sometimes where I don't know what to do. I'm trying to think through all these scenarios, and if Dion or Mercer mentions a good idea, like, okay, well, that gives me the first step. Once I get the first step, then I can usually get the rest. But sometimes the first step is the hardest.
Yeah. You can't be. One thing Mercer, me and him always talk about is that being curious, and I think that's what makes people want to read and do things like that. It blows my mind too when I hear grown people saying that they don't like to read. Like, you do realize, like, that's why you have a lot of people now with the excuses. Even some of the old people are like, oh, I don't know computers and I don't know this. Yeah, it's because you're just too lazy to read. You feel like reading is going to bring up something scary for you. And that's why I tell people, you got to kind of detach your emotions away from things in order to learn. Detach away. Like, stop trying to make it seem like everything is some kind of agenda if you have to learn something new when you read about it. Like, I often tell people, read a sociology book. That'll tell you a lot about what's happening in society and the mindsets behind people. Because when you actually go out and you have conversations with people, you'll go back to that book and realize, like, oh, this is exactly what they were talking about. This is exactly what they were saying. But it doesn't start anywhere. And I don't even think it's just curiosity. You got to be goal-oriented. What do you really want? Because you have a lot of people who say they want to do certain things, but do you actually have a legitimate, smart reason why? Smart goal, basically.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing too, capping off that, bro, is like, okay, people don't realize this. One thing that I've learned or I've noticed, man, is like you said, setting an intention or a goal. It just sounds like an idea, like just when people say that, right? It's like, oh, okay, a goal, yeah. But what you realize is that when you set the intention or the goal and you're living through the lens of that end, like there's power behind that. There's an energy that you like are putting out there in front of you with your conscious attention. You know what I'm saying? And that creates a certain flow toward that end. You know what I mean? So there's actually like a metaphysical freaking a force that actually, you know, moves you toward that, and it brings with you the people and the circumstances that will manifest that end. You know what I mean? But without that goal set, without the intention of the mind, you know, you won't meet that end. It's like a law that works underneath the reality that's outside of us. You know what I mean? Have you guys heard of the Hermetic principles?
Pareto principle?
Hermetic principles.
No, Hermetic. No, I haven't heard.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, it's like philosophy. It's like the underlying principles that go on in reality that affect what people are doing, how they're behaving, what they're deciding, what they're aware of, what they're not aware of. You know what I mean? And to the point of you know, earlier, it's like a lot of times the outside things, you know, it's like hard to gather them all, but it's like you were saying, bro, like about reading and then understanding those principles specifically, it starts to make sense of all of the different ways that we don't seem to get along. You know what I mean? It synthesizes all of the holistic way of looking at like people, and what that does, it takes a lot of information, right? It's like your head's full of things, and then what I've experienced is that it's like, how do I get all that into something that's not scattered, right? And it's like using symbolism, you know what I mean? The Bible or things like that. It can take a lot of information and start to deduce it down in your mind, like actually free up like RAM space, you know what I mean, in your mind by taking these concepts and all of the different things, and it starts to break them down into simpler and simpler ways of understanding it holistically. And then in that process, you start to order the mind in a way that you can manifest anything just by believing it. So, you know, you will know that you are the creator of this place that decides what you manifest in your own experience. And if you actually can believe that by getting there in your mind, you know, that will take place. That will take place. That's sort of like Neville Goddard, if you guys ever have heard of him. If you look at his work, or all these different you know, people, that it all means the same thing in the end. In the 7 principles, Hermetic principles, you know, the ways we get there, the experiences and the circumstances all change, and that's where the distortion is of us all not being one unified mind in the end, you know. But in the end, we really are, you know. So that's where I'm like trying to freaking figure out how to like get that out there in some way.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, man, I have a system, you know. This shit might sound cheesy as fuck, but I have like shit that are my overall goals or whatnot. And anytime I see 1111, I tell myself that story. And I see it quite frequently. But every time, like I'll tell myself the story that I've created. And I've seen more and more of that story starting to play out as I've continued to do it. I'm a big proponent in you are what you believe you can be. You know, that's just how I see it, you know. Like if you,
I agree, dude. No, that's cool you said that.
Channeling it.
Yeah, me and my friend were talking about that earlier. We were going through the same thing where you're seeing the 1111, or just you'll start to notice, you know, the things you're doing. If you're going on your goals right, you know, it'll give you like little signs of things that just remind you, you know. So,
well, just
you got
to start somewhere. Like even if you have to, I call it brainwashing yourself. Even if you have to brainwash yourself, I think it works in the long term. It'll help you get the results you want. And I notice a lot of people in the group are in like a tough time in their life or whatnot. But if I was to give you any advice, I would just say start with what you can control, and don't get too frustrated, and start there, and then slowly but surely you'll dig yourself out of any hole. But if you just keep like panicking and freaking out,
you start at your perceptions. You know what I'm saying? Perceptions is where you start. You know, it will be all the time. You know, how you're looking at things will be the starting point, no matter what. You know, no matter what that thing happens to be. You know, that's like the principle to start at. You know, I believe.
Yeah. I think like even if you're in a tough time, just like I said, just do what you can do. You know, I took that philosophy to a lot of things, just from like work. Like when I worked at this one hospital, it was so fucking busy, and I had to like tell myself like, hey, slowly but surely you're gonna get out of it. And that helped me to this day. Like if there's any situation that I'm in, I'm like, okay, slow down, stop getting emotional. what can we do right now? Okay, can we do this? Okay, we do that, and then slowly but surely you'll get out of anything. You really gotta you gotta know when you're doing something.
It's a trip that you worked at a hospital and your name is Mercer Kaiser. You feel me? That's what I'm seeing right here. Like, is that for real? Like, those are both
Mercer,
hospitals,
man,
right?
yes.
Even though it's spelled different. You got Mercer, Kaiser.
Mercer is
that's pretty dope.
A bacteria disease.
No, but Mercer Hospital is that's a hospital too, right? Out here in the West Coast.
Oh, really? I've never heard of the hospital.
Yeah, that's what tripped me out. My bad.
It's a college called Mercer, but it's MERCER.
Okay.
Mine is MURCER.
I just want to chime in on this. I like what you both said. I think the way I tell people is every day is going to be different, and you're going to have 3 aspects of a day. Or you need to have it systematic in this way: positive, negative, and neutral. Mm-hmm. And you need to look at all 3 of those days as being good. But the best way to operate is in neutrality, because when you got something good that's going on for the day, you excited, right? You got a high. That's Monday, right? Then Tuesday come along, it's bad, right? So you feel like, okay, everything's gonna be bad. You may feel like you off the goal, but you're not off the goal. That's telling you on that day you need to work a little bit harder and not get emotional. But then, so you always can bring it back to neutral. Like when somebody's asking how you doing, or you checking in on yourself to make sure you stand on your path, you can say, "Oh, okay, I'm neutral today. I'm good. It had ups and downs today, but I'm good." The very next day could go terrible. It can go terrible, but you're still on your goal. And I think that's the way I kind of do it, is looking at every day as one thing at a time, but you're not away from the goalpost just because you went down. It just means, okay, it went bad. It was unexpected. I need to work harder today. Okay, today was neutral. I can relax. Today was positive. Okay, I didn't have to do that much. Everything went well. And just like you said, changing the way your mind responds between optimism and pessimism can really change your outcome for things. Mm-hmm. But you have to know the know-how first. So you have to know, okay, all right, did it really go wrong today because of something I did, or did it just go wrong? I think that's the thing, especially for people who think long-term as well. Yeah, but that's my thing. Always think in terms of positive, neutral, and negative. And changing your mindset, you'll get some great results.
Yeah, I always, no matter whatever the situation is, if something happens to me, I never blame anybody else. I always blame myself. Right. There's growth in thinking that you did something wrong. There's no growth in blaming somebody else.
Correct.
So no matter whatever the situation is, I always say, hey, that's on me, you know?
Yeah. Because and also, what is a problem, right? People say, oh, I have a problem. There's a problem over here. Is it a problem or is it a pattern? Is it something that occurs over and over again? We call it a problem. That's what we say. Mm-hmm. But so, yeah, right. This thing's happening. It doesn't happen in what we expect our day to go in a timeline. But that's all conceptual. That's not actually real, right? So we're reacting to things, or, in general, people do. We react to things that happen, that are always happening in a pattern, based upon something that's not actually happening, which is our schedule, our mind's idea of what's supposed to go on in the day. So in that lens, in that way, a problem is simply just occurring just as something that's not a problem, right? There's no problem or unproblem. It's perfect. It's just nothing. It's balanced, basically, like Dion's saying, neutrality, where, and also, like he said, stretching it out. Whereas if you have a really bad day, that means that in the pattern of things cause and effect that are tied together, there's going to be a really good day, and there always will be if you pay attention long enough to see it. You know what I mean? Small and big, they always occur. Go ahead.
Right. Here's a book I want to tell all you guys to read. Mercer has probably already read it. Some of you guys may have made it. Robert Greene, The Laws of Human Nature. That book really legitimately talks about, like, how one of the lessons, it talks about how certain things are just going to be variables. You can't control every narrative. That's why Mercer is saying, control what you can control. And I'm telling you, that works. You gotta go with what works, and you're gonna have, like, just accept some things as is. Like, I do. I'm a person. I take a lot of responsibility for myself. If something goes wrong, I know that was in my control. But if something is out of my control, I just say, well, that today is just one of those days. Now, people talk a lot about the universe, things like that. How often do we just accept that some days just come back no matter what you do? A good example is, I was watching a recent Flash movie, right? And the whole point of the whole, I'm gonna spoil it because it wasn't that good, but the whole point of the movie was kept trying to fix a timeline that was a fixed point. So it was nothing you could do. So no matter what they kept trying to do, no matter how many times they went back to try to fix that point, you couldn't change it. So you just had to accept it for what it is. And that don't mean that you took a L. It's just you got to still continue to move forward. And because how many people you know nowadays that where they a lot of the times if you actually listen, they talk about their problems all day, and it's like you said, is it really a problem or a pattern? Because I'll listen to people talking like, my gosh, they take forever talking, and it's legitimately an issue that they have. To them, it's an issue, and you say, here's the solvent, and they'll still keep on talking, still keep on talking, still keep on talking. You're like,
you're right.
Here's how you solve it.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
They want to repeat.
They don't want to solve
talking.
it. They want to just talk.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. They're not aware
Because
that there is an actual thing that will work. That's the thing, right? It's not that they're actually dumb. People are dumb, and people are not wanting to not get help. They're not aware that there's an actual existing higher a perspective of what will take place if they would just give it a chance, but you can't convince an ego, right? Correct. Of that reality unless they're, you know what I mean? It's like, a lot of times we'll believe that it's like, oh, because I'm someone's friend or they know me, that they're going to give me the benefit of the doubt in that realm of conscious awareness, of seeing from another dimension. Basically, if someone's not understanding something, they're not seeing it from the dimension of perspective, right? So the 3D dimension never understands what the fourth dimension is trying to tell it from. It's like if you see this, they can't see the move that will make the thing actually work in their mind. So it's almost by the laws of how the mind is working. It almost forces us to be going through this journey in a way where we can't piggyback or do anything off anyone else's experience in reality, right? We can only see or accept what they do and then reflect or apply it into our own selves and then work it out in there. So in reality, everything takes place inside of ourselves, by ourselves, for ourselves. Nothing comes outside of that really, but we are learning from the others out there as part of that, so. But and then that's just in the spiritual realm, in the realm of physical reality. We're all friends and everybody wants to get together and kick it and all that shit. You know what I mean? So that's like the hard part. I feel like is like there's like two journeys going on at the same time, completely opposite of each other, and they're flipped upside down and like in a reverse mirror. The cognitive functions, that's how those are kind of. So it's like you know what I mean? So it's like there's a pattern underneath it that's very simple, but it's layered on top of itself over and over and over again. And so it's like this, it's like simple but infinite, therefore very complicated. It's a trip, man.
I think Gary just went Omega abstract.
Yeah, sorry, I got out there, dude.
I'm following him. I'm like, yeah.
Right
hey, bro, with Omega abstract.
Yeah, I went a completely. Gary, I give you points for originality.
Right, man, I'm not on the planet right now. I'm out here.
Yeah, we know you.
Cool, man. That was awesome.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I got to give you points for originality, Gary. I was thinking of the classic, comedy example where the, it's the wife and the husband, and the wife has had a bad day, and she explains her problem. The guy's like, "Oh, okay, sure, I'll go ahead, I'll grab the tool and fix it." And then she's like, "No, you're not hearing my emotions." That's where I went on that one. Maybe that's my lack of creativity in the moment. But that I was thinking more about Dion saying the concrete there for the moment.
That's just as true.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. I've learned this because I've always kind of like tried to help people when it comes to solving their problems. But a lot of time I'm noticing about 80% of the time they just want to vent. And you just gotta sit there and shake your head and just be like, okay.
I'm not sitting there, Merch. I already told you about that. I ain't sitting there. You can do that. I'm not.
Like, but that's what people like, Yeah. It's been very, very hard for me to like accept that. I still have a problem with just like trying to tell people what to do to fix their problem. But now I'm like more of a so like trying to listen because it just.
Do you feel like that's an ENTJ thing? Not to cut you off. Do you feel like that's an ENTJ thing, though?
I think that is, I think INTJs are falling. I think most people I would say any high TIRTE user is probably most likely going to try to solve your problems.
Yeah, and it's also more masculine just historically, right? And so, those two things. I will say one of the things I've had to do at times is just ask and some people are better at this than others, like, what are you asking from me? Are you asking me to listen for 10 minutes? Can I juggle or play my guitar while I'm listening if it's going to be an event, or are we talking about solving problems? And I'm only half being serious about it. It's like, listen, if you need me to listen for 10 minutes, I'll listen, but I'm probably going to lift weights or something. Just let me do something with my hands, you know?
Every trickster motherfucker. They want you to listen, dude. They want you to listen.
Hey, dude, I'm a very good listener. I'm just saying if you're not asking me to solve a problem, you're just asking me to listen. Like, just understand I might be multitasking. That's all. That's all.
Like,
So the ego wants its problem solved. It wants to complain, and the ego also wants to solve people's problems. They want to solve people's problems that are complaining. So both egos are at work there. Now, none of that actually solves any problems, right? That creates more problems because then it doesn't work and we don't understand. But what the self wants to the ego wants to solve things, and the self wants to just know itself. And by knowing itself, it solves the problems of itself and therefore all the others. See, so it's like we're looking out and we're trying to go a million directions in all these different ways, which has to happen, right? But you get to a point where you start to feel like you're getting a lot of resistance against what should be going right, or what you've understood before is like now it's like not working. Like what that means is that it's not the outside world. It's simply that the inside world, the ego has ran out of its tricks, you know. And then when people are complaining, they're actually it's just how their mind is working, right? Like their subconscious, their self is they're shadow projecting what they feel in the context of what they're saying about a problem or about this and that, right? We're hearing it analytically and trying to solve the problem, but what they're really doing unknowingly is conveying how they feel about their vibration in their life, and they don't even know that they're saying it through all these things, trying to get people to give them their energy to solve it. So that's all fine. Underneath that is the thing where it's like it comes back to just the self, right? What are my functions? The functions are the roadmap through the mind. You know what I mean? If you start to know, okay, if it's in a negative vibration, if it doesn't sound like a positive vibration, the tonality of the words, then it's not really the actual person. The self cannot do anything but love, right? It can't really say anything about other people that is negative, you know. That's only the person's ego. So we should all learn to forgive our egos, or just accept that we're flawed in that way, and then just try to look at, you know, the other people, as you guys were saying, and sort of integrate. If you can integrate with your opposite, find a friend and integrate with opposite, which is like a hard road, but if you actually start with the opposite, it almost synthesizes all the in-betweens in one shot. You know what I mean? So that's really a way to look at it.
I
agree with
Raphael
that.
said a good point. He says the act of complaining actually makes a lot of sense. After you get your emotions out, you are clear-headed and ready to take on the problem. Sometimes that's all you need. Once you go through the complaining, you're ready to get to work. Very good point there, Raphael.
like as time goes by, I learn more and more that people don't really need advice sometimes. Sometimes they do like know what they need to do, but they also need to actually get it out. Like they need to cry or to say whatever they feel, and then once that is gone, they're clear headed. It's time to get to work. It's time to face the day again. But it does depend, and I do get the frustration. You know, like you're trying to help, you're trying to give advice, and the person is like, I just want to complain. And it's frustrating to you because you're trying to be a good person. It's very frustrating. I get it.
Yeah.
Raphael,
Well
I'm not talking about those people at all. Like, because everyone has
Yeah.
a point where they need to just be expressive about what's going
Right.
on or frustration. But I know a lot of people that I wouldn't say I'm friends with them, but like I've had to interact with. Their whole thing is bitching about everything and never
Yeah.
taking any steps towards fixing it. And I have a 2-step method I use when I worked in finance. I take a notepad and you write the problem in one sentence on a notepad, and you have 2 blank sheets of notebook paper. On one sheet, you write all the barriers stopping you from reaching your goal. On the other paper, you write what you've done so far to this point to reach the goal. Guess which paper was always full?
The first, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
The
I get
second
it.
page, I did this with hundreds of clients. The second page never had more than like 10 lines on it, like 10 individual lines. It was insane. And some of these were high end people, and they'd have these issues. I was like, we could fix this in a month. But they were so hyper focused on, oh, it's the woe is me bullshit. I was like, we can make an actionable plan right now to address this, and we'd still be talking about it 6 months later. That's what I'm talking about. Like the complaining, great.
Yes.
Let's express that. Let's get it
Yeah,
out of
but
our system,
yeah.
and then let's jump into finding a solution,
Right.
But a lot of people I interacted with at a higher level, their focus was kind of, let's complain. Okay. And then I go, okay, let's resolve. And they're like, no, I want to complain again. And we did that for months. And at some point, I'm like, hey, listen, we're just going to talk about something else now because you're taking time away from other people that need my resources and my
Oh, my
expertise.
bad.
And all you're doing is telling me about what's wrong, and you have tools that can help you fix the problem you say you have. But all you're doing is complaining about it not being fixed now.
So
It's
you're right,
taking
Malcolm.
the first step to fix it.
Yeah. See, people aren't aware sometimes it's like the shadow. What it does is it projects what they're saying. They're saying something in their mind. They're not. See, in their mind, if you ask this person, if you tell them that they're complaining, they'll actually be like, no, I'm not complaining. They're like, I'm just what Raphael is saying, because he's right about that too. Whereas like, people do need to get their problems out, or talk about their day, and so they can just be accepted for that, and they will reflect and figure it out themselves, right? But what happens a lot of times is certain types, when they are projecting what their issue is, the shadow, right? What it does is it makes them unaware of the tonality in which they're conveying their message, right? So they're going to say it in a low vibration, emotional frequency. It's going to be pessimistic or feeling guilty or feeling anger, some way like that. You'll feel it. You'll feel it drain your energy a little bit, And so it's like they're not aware that they are making that statement in a low vibration tonality. Watch what I'm saying and look at the pattern, and you'll see that. Test them. They'll deny when you say that they did that. They're complaining. They won't believe you because they're not aware that they're doing it. Right. That's how the shadow's operating. And so, if you want to wizard that, right, it's like looking for that. If someone's saying something in a negative frequency, all they're looking for actually is the polarity of that thing, right? So it's almost like what Raphael's saying, where it's like, if it's almost like, hey man, listen, you know what, I've had that problem too, or that must have been really bad, or whatever. It's very simple. It almost hurts my brain to go that simple, but I've had to like actually try to work hard to like not explain the whole thing, break it down at every freaking thing. Be like, there you go, dude, you can't miss, No, actually, that's me being freaking, I'm thinking that's good, that's intelligent, but no, I'm just beating myself up, right? It's more about just being like, acknowledging that feeling. Everything is really the feeling. This feeling is the secret. The words and all the concepts, that's all the bullshit that's trying to figure out the feelings. So it's like, how can I deduce the words, deduce the concepts, let them all go and just get the feeling right, man? You know what I mean? And what Raphael was saying, and Malcolm together, both things together equal the way. It's the way. It's the Tao. You know what I'm saying? If you guys ever looked at the Tao, it's a dope fucking thing. You should check it out. But yeah, dude. Right there. That's where I want to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
right.
My thing is, another thing, guys, you guys got to be aware of is like, if this shit keeps happening to a person, bro, just don't deal with that person. I'm serious, like, because they can affect your life as well. Like if they have a pattern of just like bad shit always happening to them, like bad shit don't just keep happening to somebody. There's something that you're putting into the universe to get that. So that's actually a law from the 48 Laws of Power. I forget exactly what it's called, but like misery and all that shit. If you just keep seeing a person that continuously goes through that,
and they need to, they're on a timeline that allow you to write, bro. So that's why it's like, without that, it's hard to let it go. It's hard to not feel for them, but if you know they're on another timeline that maybe that karma has to be worked off, then it can be like, okay, I can like maybe. Let God take care of that one or whatever. Shit.
But I think too. I think to that point as well, though. I think a lot of people feel like when it comes to how they feel about certain things, it's only select and subjective. And I'm like, a lot of the time, people's feelings are universal. Everybody gets sad. Everybody loses a person. A spouse, a family member. There is universal. But a lot of the stuff does happen to them, and that's their own actions, and because that's what the path to least resistance wants to do. Everybody wants, essentially, even though we have the different personalities, like different enneagrams, different levels of our psychology with the big five and all that, is a human family. We all kind of want some of the same general stuff if you listen enough. It's just different ways of people how they go about it. But people feel like their feelings need to justified because they feel the need to be special. So a lot of the consequences or pros and cons of their actions, they feel like, oh, it's so much more worse for me. No, it ain't. This has happened to somebody in another state, Nevada, somewhere, same exact thing. It's just your day to
Dude.
complain about it.
Hey, Dion,
And
bro. Yes.
and you have to get rid of those people because yep,
Hey, so check this out, Dion. I want to say something important
yep.
right now, dude,
They
because
will
you're right, bro. Because you're an ENTP, right? Is Dion ENTP?
No, Dion's ENTJ.
Yeah.
no,
ENTJ.
I'm
Okay, cool. All
ENTJ.
right, gotcha. All right, my bad. Hey, okay, check it out. Like, I had the same thought process for a long time, right? And here's the thing, man. It's like one of my friends who's like chilling right here, right now. Hey, dude, like one thing I learned from this, like one of the hardest things I learned was like to understand like people that see the lens that way, right? Where it's like subjective emotional experience, right? And they have that in their toolbox to like maybe judge people in the world, you know what I mean? Maybe look at people and say they're good or bad, you know what I mean? And look like someone's but what I learned that came from is like the specific trauma that they go through
Facts.
that makes them experience the world. Yeah, they went through it at a really young age, like maybe 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas in me, I didn't hit the wall till like my mid-30s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like trippy for me that what's interesting is the thing that they bring to the world, which is hard to see, is that because like you said, there's feelings that are like universal, but the personal subjective experience does bring out the authenticity, the personal experience, because we're all the same in spirit, but we're all different in experience, right? And so what that means is we all have to be the same in experience in some way, and in that way, it's like what that person's doing is they're protecting the individual's experience of their emotions through the world, which is just as equal. The one experience is equal to the collective holistic universal emotional experience, right? Because that's easy for me because
Correct.
I have FE, yeah, right? So when I talk, like she can talk and judge someone, and I can sit there and do this holistic trick where I walk around what she said and can make her look like someone who's like judging people, right? I can do that. But what I learned is that me walking around it is actually where I'm judging her because I'm not looking at what they experience that I didn't, you know what I mean? Like if I would experience that too, then all of a sudden I'm in a different light, you know what I mean? Like I'm glossing over the darkness that they had to suffer through in a way that I didn't, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I experienced myself being a hypocrite, you know what I mean? And it's like good to catch that, you know. It's hard to catch our own hypocrisy, and it always is a way where it's like, fuck, man, like I look like an asshole, you know what I'm saying? So it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fun
true.
to find those, man. I like to find looking like an asshole. Go ahead.
Well, let me just say this last little
Yeah.
quick part.
Hopefully that
Well,
helps. Yeah.
I agree with that. Oh, sorry, I agree with that, Gary. But I will
Yeah.
say this: the point is it consecutive? Everybody is going to talk about their emotions because that's life, that's human.
Yeah.
But how often are you doing it to where this stuff is your fault? And that's where it starts to get annoying. Where it's like we don't want to hear you no more because your actions keep proving that what you're doing, that your feelings are irrelevant, and you keep getting the same bad outcomes from a negative emotion or negative thing you keep creating. Oh, I don't want to be with this person no more because they keep doing X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Then it goes to month 6, then year
You're
1,
right.
then year 2. Stop talking about it. You don't want the change. You just want somebody to talk your ear off to make sure that you're right. And that's a lot of the times people just want to feel that they're right and think it's going to change a person's action.
Yes.
I get it if it's something that's unfortunate, but you know that's just
you're
the way
right,
people
dude.
are. So
no, yeah, you're making a perfect ladder right here. I don't mean to go again, but you're making a perfect rung on the ladder. So check this out. So I agree with you, and so that's what I experienced too. Was like now it's like damn. You know, so what about these? That's because it's like I don't want to get tied up with these, you know, with things like, or like because it's like, you know, that's not good. So what I've realized is that the talking will never stop. You know, the things that complain that they will never stop. The world is happening how it is. You know, all we can do is just know what it is, and know what it is in energy, and then navigate it in a way that cancels out the energy or protects your energy from it. And in doing so in a way with language and tonality and knowing the pattern in reverse or whatever, giving the opposite thing that we ego wants to, and we're reflecting and moving back the words. It's a place that's like has to be worked toward it, but it's like there's a way to get a win-win with someone. Okay, someone could talk negative, and there's a way to flip it to where you both don't get pulled into that emotion, and you also reflect back to them the thing that will bring them into the light, right? And it has nothing to do with any information or any answer, right? It has everything to do with absorption and refracting the energy in which the person is seeing things, right? They're seeing it wrong, they're seeing it backwards, and so when I receive it, I'm almost got to reflect it, in a different way, and then it unlocks. I think I'm still trying to figure that out somehow, right? But if I looked at Sadhguru and all these different mystics and people, it's like without resistance is always in the way in some way. So it's like, I don't know. That's how I feel. What do you guys think? Because it's like, it's like the people can't be solved almost. Like, so it's almost like solving my own way of moving through the people without ignoring them or being total like, it's all about me, right? I want to help, but also not give so much attention. Well, then it shrinks down to like giving the most help with the least bit of energy or attention, in the end, right?
It's all about how we
that in a way. But
it's all about how we navigate through society through our different personality types. I do see that because that's the question I wanted to present next was what's a tendency you notice in a general way that your personality type tends to come out in different areas of life. Because I know for like me and Mercer, we talk a lot about different things, and it's like we always come to the same conclusion on a lot of stuff, but it may not be the same way somebody else handles it of a different personality type. So I just want to see what was everybody's experience, and when dealing with situations, people, jobs, you being your particular type, how does that come out compared to somebody of a different type, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think him and Malcolm are probably more empathetic with people, just because they have FE, which I think so they'd be actually more empathetic as opposed to us. We're like least empathetic, but we actually want people to do better, but we just we don't pick up on people's emotions, and we don't pick up on that type of thing. So it becomes kind of tough because it comes out of our mouth a lot sharper than it needs to be sometimes, and that could be counterproductive to you getting an outcome. So as myself, I've learned to communicate a lot better, because just railing somebody with what they need to do or whatnot doesn't work as well as just delivering it the right way.
Yeah. Sometimes I think Mercer pretty much that I'm more sympathetic than empathetic. I don't necessarily pick up on the cues right away unless there's music in the background. I guess maybe that might help, but basically I do try to hear people out, especially at the beginning, but I try to ask them questions along the way to understand their barriers. Most people who still talk to me, I guess, usually know that's probably what I'm going to do. But if we're dealing with people before who are bad faith, as we talked about earlier, or who just keep coming back, then usually at some point I'll say I'm probably not the best person to help you or hear you out. But I will say though, usually when I'm talking with, most people I talk to are pretty smart and pretty intentional. And so if they're asking for my help or want me to listen through something they're struggling with, then I'll hear them out and then kind of try to ask thoughtful questions and ask what could we try to solve this, and then give it a shot. Let me know what works or if we need to adjust the path. Mm-hmm. And I think most guys who are in good faith or smart gals, they respect that. And but I think honestly, a lot of these miscommunications are from people not being clear about what the intentions are right off the bat. Mm-hmm. And I think there's like this kind of false social faux pas about like just saying things straight up, but let me tell you, make things a lot easier. If someone said like, hey, I just need 5 minutes. I need you to tell me that you care about me and here's how I'm feeling. I can do that. Like, but if they lie to me about what they're asking for, it makes me a lot harder for me to help them. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes people just need to be direct and say, hey, I need help with this, or I need you to hear me for 5 minutes on this. And that allows me to take a few seconds to get set in that mode. But if I have to switch modes, I'm just gonna be honest, I get a little cranky. If it's unexpected and I have to go from sympathy mode to logical mode or back and forth, that can be a little, I think, frustrating. I don't think I'm the only TE user who feels that way.
The only thing I would say is I get really pissed off if I feel like what you're saying doesn't take the level of emotion that you're conveying, or that it's bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Then I'm like totally different person, But like if it's like if it's actually true, then I'll try to sit there and I'll try to understand and I'll try to help. But if I have justified in my brain that this is bullshit, that what you're doing is straight bullshit, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get pissed when I feel like when my BS detector starts going off. It seems like what you're saying now is a lie, or you're trying to manipulate the situation and get something that's not really genuine. So you just sit here, you basically are just lying, try to get your way, and you want some what do you say? You want some backing behind it,
Validation, yeah.
Yeah, validation. There you go, validation behind it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going for that. So now
Right.
I got to tell you off. But so yeah, I'm the same way. I get that same exact way.
Get sore.
You know what? You guys are right, dude. And it's like people will project their things a lot of times. It will feel like they're really wanting you to say or accept what they're saying, and and stuff like that. And that's interesting you say that, because what I've experienced, what's tricky, dude, is like I had this like awakening, man, this Kundalini awakening, and like it brings a lot of this fucking energy, man. It's like hard to your nervous system to process sometimes. You know what I mean? It takes years to get through it, and it's like what I've noticed was so hard about this journey is like, inside of that is flow state, right? So it's like sometimes I'm conveying things that are like can be true, but in order to get into that information, it has to go to this flow state where it's like things come out in a speedy way where it can sound like just like what you're saying, dude, where it's like too much, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like I'm working this, like trying to dial that in, it was like it was 2022, so 2021. So, but to your point, man, it's like the most important thing is in the end, it's always about, everybody understanding and coming together, like, right? Like love in the end, right? But it's like, I feel like everything starts from looking at the mind. I think that's a helpful place to start. And not personality type and functions yet, but actually like the three parts of the mind, just the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious, because if you look at those in a symbolic way, you can just look at it, because it's complicated, the brain, but you can look at it like the conscious. If you want to look at it from just the Bible, right, you can tie it to the Father, right? The conscious is the Father. It decides, it knows what it wants to do. It decides what it wants to do. The feminine, the subconscious, it knows the story. It's a spiral. It's a spiral in its path, right? It walks around this world in a spiral. The Father, the conscious mind, it looks forward. It goes in a line. So you got a line, you got a spiral right there on our brain, and in the back, that's the unconscious, right? That's the devil. That's the state. That's the one who creates the problems and doesn't want to solve them. They want to complain and not solve shit, right? That's not the person. That's actually not them, right? That's the trauma that they experience. It's programmed into their unconscious as these behaviors that play out in order for them to fend off that energy. You know what I'm saying? If you ask them, if you tell them what they're doing, when you catch them doing this, ask them, be like, hey, you're doing this right now. You're complaining about this thing. They will deny it. I guarantee. They will deny it. They will say, no, I'm not. I guarantee it's by a program. So if we understand that's 100% of the time, that's how the mind is working. We can take that universal truth. All these fold into universal truths that start to unfold into deducing the entire reality down to a single point, which is I am the point. I am the point of the reality. You are. As in, I am saying we. Every one of us is I inside of our own minds perceiving ourselves, right? You're not your name. You are I in your mind. I'm I in my mind. That is all of us as one. And then our names, what we do, what we think, and all of that. That's just the story, right? If you start to look at that story as a play or a drama, and we see that we're all archetypes, our characters are like the ones we look at in the movies, it becomes much easier to understand each other in that way, because it's like, instead of understanding this person on some complicated level, I can just say, they're the warrior archetype. Look at this person. They're being the helper. This person's being the explorer, etc. And so it can start to look like that and become very simple to navigate.
Well said, man. Yeah. Well, this has been great, guys. I gotta fucking clean my house. We'll do this again next month. And let's do it again. Any last things anyone wants to say?
Yeah, back to the food thing. You have time. Wild game is the best you can get.
Wild game? What's that?
Wild game is not a company. I mean, like literally wild game. Go hunt. Go get you a gun. Go or a bow or whatever you can shoot.
Oh God, actual clown.
Yeah.
I'm writing down wild games. They're like,
he looking for the company, man. No, I'm serious. Like I eat real healthy. I eat a lot of wild game. So like fish. I got 2 lakes. So I eat for a lot of fresh trout. I don't buy fish at the store, and I notice a difference when I eat food that's from my local grocery stores versus food that's wild caught or wild game like deer and stuff, like I physically can feel a difference with the same work schedule, same training schedule, everything. Wild caught food is healthier for you, unless it's something in your water supply near you, which you shouldn't if you out getting your shit in the woods. You'll feel a physical difference health wise, and then go try for 2 months. Go get the shit out your grocery store that's supposed to be healthy. You'll feel a difference how you feel throughout your week. So I don't know if y'all like hunting or none of that shit, but that stuff is worth the time it takes to do. Even if you just got a friend or somebody that hunts or fishes, pay them a little bit to get some of that stuff and learn how to cook it. That shit is delicious and it's healthier for you. In my opinion, I feel better when I eat that stuff than I do when I get the stuff out the grocery store. If you ain't got a farmer that you close with that they don't contaminate their food with stuff or their livestock or their grains, find you a hunter. Make a buddy with a hunter. He go hunting every year. Cool.
Yeah, we need one for the apocalypse. That's what's up. Just play.
It's a good idea, man. It's so healthy for you.
Hey,
that's a great idea, Malcolm. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, hey, you guys, I want to say I'm gonna go, but hey, I learned something from everybody. Seriously, like Mercer Jordan, dude, for your point. Hey, like about everything, and Malcolm and Dion, bro. I fucking loved your fucking insights, bro. Thank you guys.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. Seriously, just by interacting with y'all, man, I learned so much. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? Just from the experience. So yeah, it's like cool that y'all come out here and just like give your opinions, because it's like not everybody. Sometimes people aren't even willing, to do that. So that's dope.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for listening to my crazy shit too. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. You guys take it easy, man.
All right, peace out.
It was cool, man.
Take it.